Hey, hey, hey. Welcome back to the West Nest with Brandon and Mikaela. This episode is fueled by Bang energy drinks and BCAAs because we're on a road trip. We're tired, but we're also healthy as fuck. This is going to be kind of I feel like we're going to be super nerdy on this one and maybe a little spoilery with Game of Thrones towards the end. But I also want to talk about the big, I don't even want to call it fight coming up this weekend. It's the big event. Yeah, the big joke, if there's ever been a chance for a fight to be fixed, it's this weekend. Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor fight. This fight's pissed me off and just bummed me out, honestly, since it was announced, because it's just stupid. This dude has done nothing but, got breaks here and there, got to dodge certain opponents in the UFC. He'll win a belt, and then he'll tell the guy, all right, I'll give you a rematch, who, Jose Aldo was a great champion, and then he doesn't give him a rematch. He leaves the division and gets an automatic title shot at a different division. And then he wins that belt, which, cool, congrats, that's awesome. But then what else does he do? He's not going to defend that one. Then he leaves the fucking sport. He leaves literally the most exciting division in the sport on complete hold so he can go box, arguably, in my opinion, the greatest boxer ever. No matter what you think of his personality, I think he is the best boxer. Whether you want to say he's defensive or boring, whatever, but he fucks people up and doesn't get hit.
And doesn't lose.
Exactly. And so now we're gonna let these two guys fight and put the sport of MMA on hold even more for one guy. While everyone else is making shit money, they're like, no, we're gonna, let him box. Okay, well, what about all the other guys who working their way up to fight for the title that already got fucked over by this guy? They're like, well, I'm working hard, I'm gonna get the title shot, I'm almost there, and then this guy comes from a different fucking division, and they're like, here's a title shot, just so we can try to make history, and he wins the two belts, which, again, like I said, when you win, that's cool, but he won a fight that he should have never even been in. You shouldn't get special treatment, especially, in MMA. In boxing, they're kind of limited to how many stars they have and how many people they have and stuff like that, especially big stars, but with the UFC, it got big by watching people grow in the sport and fighting for the damn spot,
Working their way up through the ranks, getting through the tough people, and earning a chance at a title.
Exactly. Not being spoon-fed and, here's 6 strikers in a row, and while Jose Aldo's fighting wrestlers, and Conor only fought one wrestler, and the wrestler was literally on 10 days, 2 weeks, something notice, and yeah, he beat him. Congratulations. Hey, he beat Jose Aldo. I'll never take that away from him. That was cool. It wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. It sucked. It was a big build-up to one punch, but, congratulations to him on that. But at the same time, then to be like, all right, I'm going to leave this division now, and then I'm going to keep the belt just for no reason. Never defend either one of my belts.
Jose Aldo never got a rematch?
No, fuck no. He never even stated he won't come back to the division. He's too big. But now Jose Aldo's talking about going to 155, so the rematch is possible down the road. But Ronda gets fucking kicked into another dimension by Holly Holm, and then she takes a year off, and then she comes back and doesn't even have to do press, doesn't have to do shit, and is gift wrapped a title shot against not even Holly Holm anymore. She's not even the champion when that happened, and then gets knocked the fuck out in 30 seconds. So it's They keep putting all these eggs in baskets and forcing people to be these superstars. Even though they're already superstars, they're like, well, we're going to ride the superstars. But you don't have to do that. If you let the sport be a sport that it was in the way where it got you.
Let it be about the competition, not about the person.
Exactly.
So much.
I get it. And at the end, it is a business, and it does need to make the most money possible, and I want the fighters to make more money. But at the end of the day, you're gonna fucking lose more fighters doing this shit by cherry picking opponents for people and special treatment. And you see it, some people might be like, well, you know what, if he can make that much money, I'll come over there and then I'll try to make that much money. But it's not gonna fucking work that way, because you're gonna have to work your way up unless you got a big fucking mouth and you can win a couple fights. Apparently that's all you have to do now. And you know, maybe it'll work out for you. But I think they're just gonna keep fucking losing people to Bellator. Like, it really just feels like it's, I don't know if it's still going on, but like for a while I really thought like, okay, Dana's here, and he's like, once they partially sold the company and all that shit, like, he's like, all right, I'm gonna make as much money off Conor as I can, and then I'm gonna dip the fuck out of here. And it's just like, well, dude, don't fucking do that, because you're just leaving so many fighters in fucking limbo, you know? Like, wait, just because you want to go fucking let this dude box. It's just fucking embarrassing. And they're just going to keep losing fighters to Bellator, because they go to Bellator, they can have sponsors, they can make money, and they'll feel appreciated. Whereas it's feeling more and more like just a money-grabbing, like when they put you in that fucking little booth at like arcades and the tickets are all blowing around, you just grab as much tickets as you can. It's like Dana and like the few people who can benefit from this are just grabbing as much money as they can while the iron's hot. And then it's like, well, we've made our money. If this starts to go to shit, we'll just jump ship and say fuck it, because it's just not what made it cool, and what made it not the wrestling, like pro wrestling, is that it was all real. People earned shots to fight other
MMA,
people.
like
yes, MMA in general. Yeah, like before it was all bullshit. Like, you really had to fight your way, and you're just not doing a service to the fucking like real fans. And like, when it comes to the fight this weekend, like, it's gonna do good money. Like, it'll make a good amount, but it's not worth $100, and it's damn sure not appealing to people who really enjoy boxing, like I do, and like people who know even more about boxing than I do.
What makes you think that it's fixed?
I don't necessarily think that it's fixed, but I think if it ever, for any chance, looks fishy, it's fixed. Like, I think there's been several fights in Bellator that looked fixed, and they've denied it and said things, but you can tell when someone like takes a fall. Like, you know, like Frank Mir had a great point. I listened to him the other day. He was saying that, like, what makes the most sense for these two guys? Well, what makes the most sense money-wise is for Floyd to get hit with a shot that doesn't look that bad, and he goes down to his knees, and then he acts dizzy, and he can't get back up, and they do a 10 count, and then now what do? Oh yeah, we're going to do a rematch. And then in that rematch, Floyd goes in there and boxes him up, and then wins. And then now what? Oh yeah, a rubber match. And try to make like $700 million between the two of them over 3 fights.
Do you like, that makes sense for the money, but I don't see that to be within Floyd Mayweather's character to lose a fight just for money.
No,
I don't think that would happen.
I agree with you. I think Frank was making a good point that if Floyd was like that, like, say Floyd had 3 losses in his career, or like 1 or 2, I think it's more possible.
Right.
But that 49-0 is huge.
Right. He's not going to lose.
Yeah.
A fight. To lose a fight. I don't believe that.
Yeah. And the other thing that people aren't talking about is that Conor just lost a little over a year ago to a guy who's nowhere near the boxer Floyd is, to a guy who's not a power puncher. He got clipped, dropped, or he went for a takedown and got strangled in less than 2 rounds. Like, that happened. And then he fought the same guy, Nate Diaz, and then halfway through the fight he started gassing and was literally running away from Nate Diaz. And if it wasn't the end of I think the 2nd or 3rd round, he probably would have got knocked out. And he came back and he won a bullshit decision, in my opinion. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Fuck, I'm going crazy. But they're not talking about is, like, after that fight, then they're like, okay, well, here's a title shot again, you know, for a title that in a division that you haven't even fought in the UFC yet. So that doesn't make any fucking sense. Just to try to make history, then have 2 belts for 30 seconds and then get rid of one. So he fights a guy that, if, like, the guy he fought in comparison to Floyd Mayweather when it comes to hands. So this is the fight that, like, catapulted this fight this weekend, is because he went in there and put his hands behind his back and fucked Eddie Alvarez up. Okay.
Who did?
Conor, to win the lightweight belt. Okay, so Eddie Alvarez literally gets rocked in every one of his fights that I've ever watched over the last 5 years. So his chin is already shot. He's been fighting for a long time. He gets into wars with a bunch of people, and Conor is just has a good, good power. So he puts his hands behind his back and he fucks this guy up. But if you were to put Eddie Alvarez into a boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather, it's like me going to play basketball with Michael Jordan. And I really mean that. Like, because Eddie Alvarez is just a short guy, throws hooks, and he's mostly, like, he's a grinder, like, wrestle and, like, just throw.
I don't understand. Conor McGregor beat Eddie Alvarez.
Yes.
But Eddie Alvarez couldn't beat Floyd.
No.
I don't...
What I'm saying is they're catapulting this fight this weekend. The whole reason it's happening is because he embarrassed Eddie Alvarez. And I'm just saying, Eddie Alvarez is not, like, anything
not
special.
Even close to the level of Floyd Mayweather.
That's
to
right.
Be like,
That's
you beat Eddie Alvarez, you can beat Floyd too.
Thank you. Exactly.
Okay, I get where you're going.
Right. Like, Conor can't fight Floyd's opponents.
Yeah.
Those guys couldn't touch Floyd. And then they want to act like Conor is going to somehow knock him out. Okay, well, if you go back and watch Conor's fights, his best performances are when he sits back and he lets people come to him and he slides away and then comes in and tags them. Okay, who in the fuck in their right mind that's ever watched a boxing match of Floyd's thinks he's going to come fucking forward? He's the best defensive boxer in history. He's going to sit back and make Conor come forward, and when Conor stretches that long fucking hand out there, he's going to get lit up over and over and over. More than likely. Of course, shit happens, so before I say it's 1,000% guaranteed, but I would say it's a, like, 95% chance.
Like, I really, like, in my heart, want to believe that this fight isn't all bullshit.
Like you want it to actually be a real fight.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen
but
it.
I don't think that it is. I don't know. It just seems...
So you think it is fixed? Do you think it's like
I don't necessarily...
like they're not allowed to knock each other out? They go the distance and Floyd wins a decision?
No, I don't think Floyd's gonna win.
Oh, you think he's gonna lose?
No, sorry. I don't think Floyd's gonna lose.
No, I don't either.
No, I don't think he's gonna lose, which is to me like, what the fuck is the point of having this fight?
I agree.
Like, if Conor wants to prove that he's a great boxer and can stand, like, I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's all for the show.
Yeah.
How about the fact that no one fucking paid attention to it when they posted a fucking picture of them riding on the private jet together? No one's talking about it. We just got WrestleMania'd. Like, this is just pro wrestling.
Like,
that's
acting.
all it is. They did 5 fucking press conferences, and Conor looked like fucking Cruella DeVille with his fucking jacket on, and Floyd has all his bodyguards, and they go out there and they talk shit to each other, and then they go to the next city and they do it all over again. And people are like, oh my god, oh. I'm like, that's why I'm saying I don't think real boxing fans even give a fuck that this is happening. And I think a lot of real MMA fans, not like people who just got on the boat, give a shit either. I think the real fans are like, hey, dickhole, like, why don't you actually defend a belt? Like, I'm sorry, Matt Hughes said it best, like, you're not a real champion until you defend your belt. And everyone is giving him a pass on this. They're like, oh, you're just a hater. I'm not a hater. I love the fucking sport, and he's not good for the sport. He's good for him. He's good for Dana. He's not necessarily, he's part, you know what, I take that back. I'll say he's not all for the sport. Some of the things he does, the attention he's putting on the sport is a good thing. But
Is it?
Some of it, like the eyeballs, because if you think about it too, like no one ever talks about it, but he can't carry it. Like they act like he's touched by God and like he's the greatest thing that's ever come to MMA, which is beyond bonkers, because he can't even hold a pay-per-view by himself. He might be able to now, but every pay-per-view he's had has been stacked. He might be the headliner, but it had like Chris Weidman versus Rockhold as the co-main event. It's all had like a title fight underneath of his going with it. It's like been a stacked card with him on top of it. And then they're like, Conor sold this many tickets and pay-per-views. I'm like, no, 30 people sold that many tickets. Like, you can't just give this dude all this fucking credit. Credit is due, yeah, for sure. He's knocked some fucking dudes flat. Like, he's had good fights. He's a good fighter. But it also makes him look like a pussy to real MMA fans when he won't defend a fucking belt and he leaves a division. And then he wins another belt, and then he leaves the sport to go to boxing to fight a retired 49-0 person who's been hit cleanly maybe 7 times. Never dropped, been hit cleanly 7 fucking times. And you can argue that he got better later in his career because he got more defensive. He got more slick after he got beat up a little bit in one of his fights. He realized, okay, well, you know what? Fuck him. I'm just gonna get slick and I'm just gonna beat him up and, you know, use the sweet science on him. It's just this whole fucking situation is stupid. Like, man, like, cool, you're making $100 million. That's cool. But if people want to act like he's going to have some kind of legacy in the sport, it's not going to be what they think it is. Because he's not. He's not going to have a long title reign. Because how long do you think a guy like that sticks around when he's fixing to make $100 million? Then you can go back to you're going to go back to the UFC. They're going to be like, well, here's $3 million. That's about all I can give you. He's like, well, I just made $100 to box. I didn't even have to kick. I didn't have to like practice jiu-jitsu. I just had to punch. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's fucking goofy, all right? And everyone gives me shit, and I promise I don't like to be a hater. I think that word is very stupid, but I love the sport of MMA, and I love the sport of boxing, and I don't think this fight is fucking good for either one of them. I think this fight, this freak show, is only good for Showtime. It's good for the upper class UFC. It's good for Dana, Conor, and Floyd. And that is fucking it. It's not gonna do shit for anyone. Especially if it looks fishy. If it looks fishy, that's the worst. That's gonna be even way fucking worse. Because now, not only will boxing's had fixed fights in the past. That's 1,000%. UFC, I can't remember one that was actually under the UFC banner. MMA's had fixed fights, but under the UFC banner, I can't remember one that looked fixed besides Kimbo Slice and Houston Alexander. But I think they were just fucking out of shape. But if you were to be involved and it looks a little bit fishy, now the way the UFC's been going, the WWE route of, you know, drama but being more of the sales, now you were just involved with something that looked like a fixed fight. Like, if that was to happen, now you have to start, people are going to start questioning everything you guys do. And, like, you don't fucking want that. It's just, I don't see the upside except money. And just whatever. Yeah. Alright. Sorry. Had to get that off my chest, though. And it's this weekend. So if you watch it, hey, go watch it. Enjoy it. Do your thing. Promise. Not a hater. Just, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Alright. Anyway. And fucking, what did I say? I told you John Jones got popped, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. This whole thing. Yeah, I told you he fought DC, right? And Daniel Cormier. And I know me and you are not John Jones fans.
No.
You know, but
Can't get his shit together.
He just can't, man. Which it's you know, innocent till proven guilty on this one. They're testing the supplements and stuff to see if it was tainted.
Right.
But
okay.
Right, exactly. Who knows? But he fought Daniel Cormier, and I'm a big DC fan, and he kicked DC in the fucking head and knocked him out bad. And I gotta tell you, afterwards, he was a fucking man about it. He gave DC all the props for being a great human being and a great champion and all this. And I was like, damn. I was like, I'm a John Jones fan a little bit. Like, that was awesome. It was a good fight for both guys up until the end. And then John Jones kind of redeemed himself in my eyes. And then it's like, he gets like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I'm kind of tired of the fucking yo-yo. So
yeah.
And like, I don't remember who said it, but like, I think Dana might have said it, but he was like if this comes out to be 100% true, 100% positive, like, it wasn't a tainted thing, it was all his fucking fault, he's like, it's time to retire.
Yeah.
Like what are you're gonna sit another 2 years out? Because, and this will be a second offense, so that might actually be 3 years, 3 to 4.
Did
like,
they extend your, like, what is he, suspended?
He'll be suspended, yes, where he can't work, like, he can't fight, period, anywhere. And I mean, and he's in his prime, so it's like, he could come back, but he could come back and he could be rusty, or like he could lose that step, you know, like,
well, yeah, I don't know.
It's just, and he looked so good. That's what, I don't know, that's what sucked, is that he looked really good, and DC looked good, and then to have this kind of linger over a fight like that, it's not looking too good for John. But hey, fucking.
Like we always say, fuck John Jones.
Yeah, that's kind of our saying. Every time he does something stupid, Mikaela just goes, fuck John Jones. Oh, Ian, yeah. If you're listening, by the way, to this eventually, fuck Tyrese. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say this because we're about to talk about episodes 1 through 6 and probably, or a little bit, and then going into what we think is going to happen in the season finale. So spoiler alerts ahead. But Game of Thrones, holy shit, this season has been like calm episode, crazy episode, calm episode, crazy episode. Holy shit, man.
I don't know. I feel like the last two. What was it? Which episode was it where I was like on the couch, like literally sitting on my feet, like grabbing your arm because it was so exciting. Which episode?
I think that was this last one where they were fighting the White Walkers.
It wasn't the last one.
Oh no, it was the one with the Spoils of War, where Danny showed up with the Dothraki to fight Jaime.
Yeah, to fight the bastard.
That was sick.
Oh, that one was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. But I think this last episode was my favorite so far. The like they're calling them the Suicide Squad. All the guys north of the wall. I don't know, that one had a really like awesome like feel to it.
It really did. Like they're all like walking along in the snow, like they're all miserable and talking about like, I don't know.
You're getting all these magical characters getting to meet each other for the first time, or for the first time in a long time, you know. And you got Tormund and the Hound doing their back and forth, which is fucking always like those two are always amazing.
I love them talking about Brienne. The shit cracked me up.
Oh my god.
I was really, really worried for Tormund.
Yeah, I was
for
too.
A few minutes there. I almost cried.
Yeah.
I almost cried.
Then the Hound found his balls and saved him.
The Hound came through.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like
I was so relieved to know that Tormund was still alive. Like
Thoros Mir died, and I was like, I feel like they're gonna try to kill one more person before the end of the episode. And then when Tormund starts getting dragged into the water, I was like, not him! He's the fucking ginger monster. Like, don't kill that guy. But no, it ended up being fucking Viserion, the dragon, which was fucking bonkers. I don't know, that was fucking amazing though. Night Kings, I can't wait for that shit to, like, this season's been cool, but I feel like a lot of it's a building season.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like too crazy, because it's like next season has to be the final war. Like I think John calls it the only war that matters.
The only war that matters.
Yeah, I think next season really is like the only war that matters is going to be all consuming next season, and just fucking insane.
Well, it's like, this is like as far as my imagination has gotten me, was what happens when Danny finally gets to Westeros.
Right.
And the White Walkers start coming.
Right.
Like, all of a sudden, here we are. And I hadn't really given any thought to things happening after that, because I always thought that would kind of be the end.
Right.
But, so last week's episode was kind of like, holy shit, all this is happening right now. What else is there?
Right.
You know, I'm ready for the damn book to come out so we can finish
reread
this shit. Yeah, man. I don't know.
He's still several months away, he said. I think, well, because like when me and you, excuse me. Oh, gross. Subway pizza, don't eat it.
Yeah, that
was cardboard with cheese on it. Fucking
awful.
Disgusting. Sorry guys. When we used to talk about it, we would have fun. We would go to like IHOP at midnight after like some of her shifts, and we would talk Game of Thrones, like what we think is going to happen. This is like 2 seasons ago, and I think we would always get to the point of like,
Jon's the true king.
Jon's the true king, and Danny's going to show up and fight the White Walkers with the dragons, because obviously fucking fire. And we thought that Bran was going to warg into one of the dragons, which could still happen. And so like we finally got the dragons meeting up with White Walkers, and it proved that they're really badass, and Jon, we know, is the rightful heir to the throne.
Yeah.
But you know what someone pointed out that I didn't think about?
What's that?
Was that Viserion died, because dragons in battle like that are never going to be as efficient without a rider, because a rider is kind of steering them. So when they're just kind of flying around torching shit, they're not really paying attention. They're just doing, what they think they're supposed to be doing.
They're not defensive.
Exactly.
At all.
Because when Drogon and her and all the Suicide Squad left, as that second spear gets thrown by the Night King, she tells Drogon to roll.
Right.
And that's how he misses. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I was like, okay, so Jon needs to ride Rhaegal, who's named after his father anyway. So let's get that shit going, please.
That Walker, though, he just threw that spear, so easy.
Yeah. The magic with him is dope.
Jeez, it just tore through that fucking dragon.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
It was super sad. What was cool is they made it super, in my opinion, I say realistic, but it's a dragon, so I mean, fucking realistic as we think. But it's it hit him where the fire was in its throat, so it blew a hole out, and the fire blew all, you know what I mean? So
he was smoking on his way down,
exactly.
He exploded or something.
Right. It was he hit him right where he needed to, and it was dope. And then, of course, then at the end, when they start dragging him out, I'm like, oh, that's another thing we called back at IHOP a few years ago.
So what do you think when that dragon, obviously he's not going to breathe fire, is he going to breathe ice?
See, I think he will breathe fire.
You think so?
I do.
But what's the point of him breathing fire?
Fire still kills normal people.
This is true.
Why do they want to freeze people?
But if they're all fighting, right?
Yeah.
Walkers and the dead and humans.
Right.
I don't know.
I go back and forth because everything I've read about, there used to be a thing that was an ice dragon, but it's not a dragon that died and was brought back by a White Walker. It was an actual creature that breathes ice.
Yeah.
Like a white dragon that does that. But in my opinion, Viserion was just brought back to life. But under the control of the Night King.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's different. I just think he's on the other side. But maybe it's blue fire.
Something.
You know what I mean? They might make it different. But part of me thinks it's not like he's gonna be shooting icicles and shit out of it like that. I don't know how it would change his biology. But maybe it does. I don't know.
I wonder if Bran can reverse the White Walker curse.
Maybe.
He had that emblem on, the same
as the Night King.
Same thing as the Night King. So maybe they are connected somehow, but it's an opposite thing, kind of
like the Upside Down and Stranger Things. It's the same place but a different dimension kind of thing.
No,
that's crazy.
I just mean maybe they have a similar power, but they can use it differently.
Oh, okay. He can turn them into whites or White Walkers or whatever you want to call it, but Bran can turn them human.
Maybe he can reverse it somehow.
Yeah.
I could be I don't know. This is what's fun about Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Is you just have to be a skeptic about everything and
right. It's all still
wonder how it all fits together in the end.
Right.
It's all
still unknown. The other thing is how most of the army is falling apart, they're dead, they're missing it's all, a lot of them are just bones.
Yeah.
Right.
How are they held together?
So the way I look at it is Viserion's dead. So you know what I'm saying?
Decay.
Yeah, a little bit.
But the whites don't decay. The dead decay. The whites don't.
That's true. No, the whites are the dead, the skeleton ones.
Are they?
Yeah.
But they're they have
But no, I know what you're talking about. The generals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are White Walkers.
Yeah.
The whites are the foot soldiers. Somebody explained that to me the other day.
Got it.
Yeah, but I know.
And then there's the dead.
I see what you're saying. So he's probably going to be one of the generals. He'll probably still have all his skin mostly, and just have the blue eyes and be white. I see.
They have beards and hair, and you know what I mean.
Right, because he was.
They're all they look like they have muscle but no skin.
Yeah. He was changed like Craster's babies were.
Yeah.
The Night King touched him, and he you know, his eyes open blue.
But the dead don't have blue eyes, right? They're just dead.
I think so. I think no, the polar bear had blue eyes.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know, man. That's like you just said, though. That's what's fun. It's like we don't have the conclusion. We don't fucking know. And,
I just want Cersei to die in a very painful way.
I agree. I kind of think she's gonna die Sunday.
You think so? That soon?
If they keep her around till next season, I feel like it's only because she's a good, like, because she's a fan favorite.
Creates drama.
Yeah, it's like, but I don't think you need the drama anymore because of the threat, in my opinion. Like, I think she should die at the season finale because everyone knows she's not going to let Dany show up at King's Landing without a trap.
Right.
Her goal is not to fucking talk. Her goal is to kill her, Tyrion, anyone else who fucking wants to say that she's not queen. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I'm hoping Jaime realizes how fucking crazy she is and just kills her because that would be the most poetic thing.
I think the difference is going to be Jaime's going to see the dead guy and he's going to realize, like,
yeah, that is
oh
real.
shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to recognize the truth.
Yeah.
And Cersei is not. And
Right.
he's going to try to convince her and she's going to be like, no.
Right.
And he's going to have to choose at that point whether to serve her
Right.
or not anymore.
Or maybe he'll take the Lannister army, since he's the general, you know, and just be like, you know what, fuck you. I'm going to fight in the north. Like, this is the bigger picture, stupid. But I don't know. The other thing is, she's definitely not pregnant. Not a fucking chance.
You don't think so?
Fuck no. She's so conniving. She's, as much as I hate her character, and I think she needs to die, she's a very smart person.
You know what else?
What's that?
Jaime and Brienne
Yeah, they're gonna get to see each other again, which I'm excited for.
coming up.
Coming up.
Sansa just sent Brienne
Yep.
to King's Landing,
Yep.
which I also don't understand. Like, because don't they show? They know Sansa's in the north.
Sansa's in the north, and I get that. Like, if I was Sansa, I don't think I'd ever go back either.
I would not go back to
Not while
King's Landing if
not
I
while,
were her.
not till John's on the throne.
And I think she said that. Even.
Yeah,
She's
she
like,
said
I will not set foot back there while Cersei's still alive.
Exactly, or while she's queen, or
Yeah.
something along those lines. And that I understand.
I don't blame you one bit, Sansa.
No, but if like me and you have talked about, like if they don't wrap up the Sansa Arya thing with like this has all been a game, like they've been fucking with Littlefinger, I think I'm gonna be really disappointed because their argument seems so fucking stupid.
Like, I've said so many times, it doesn't seem in their characters
Right.
to be so petty.
Right.
Now that they're, after all the shit that they've been through, and they're finally back home, and they're finally in Winterfell again,
Right.
they're gonna argue about stupid shit that happened a long time ago. Like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me
No, I agree.
for the story to go that way.
Right. It's
kind of like cheap.
it's a pointless plot line that
Yeah.
doesn't really do anything.
So maybe it does turn out that they're just playing Littlefinger
Yeah.
to get him to reveal himself, you
Right.
know, and in a way that fucks him over.
That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they've had a conversation with, like, Bran or something. You know what I mean? Or,
Because
like,
they really haven't shown a whole lot of him
he hasn't.
recently.
They haven't shown him since. Well, they showed him like 2 episodes ago, but it was only like
He
him
was,
as
like,
the
watching
birds.
the walkers.
Yeah, which was fucking stupid.
And then, you know, his whole story is such a mystery to me, and it's probably one that I'm most curious about because I just don't understand his role in everything.
Right.
Like, obviously, he has to be the one to reveal to Jon who he really is.
Right. No. Remember, Gilly found out.
But Gilly doesn't know what she knows.
That's true. Yeah, but I feel like Sam might have heard her in passing, and like something will make it click in his head, like annulment, Rhaegar. But you're right.
I think they took that book, the one that she was reading out of when they left.
That's true.
But like, neither of them have registered that yet.
Because Sam was all super stressed out.
Right.
He's thinking about the walkers, like, because you got to remember too that they're not looking to find out if Jon has different parents. He's Ned Stark's bastard.
And she never said Stark or anything. You know, she was
she
just
said
talking about
Rhaegar.
Rhaegar Targaryen. And
Rhaegar had an annulment and got married
again
in a secret ceremony.
Right. the same day.
And then that's when Sam freaked out and said he doesn't care how many shits he took.
Right.
And she's like, steps.
So funny.
I tell you what, he's an underrated character, man.
He fucking saved Jorah Mormont.
Yep.
So he is everything.
He saved a lot of people. He's killed White Walkers. He's killed a Thane.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot.
And now his dad and his brother are dead, and he doesn't even know.
Well, yeah, and neither does John. But John also doesn't really know Sam's family. But I don't know. Sam's dad was also a piece of shit. I don't think Sam's gonna care. His mom, he knows his mom. He can still carry the name on because he'll end up not being in the Night's Watch afterwards.
Right, and he's not gonna be a maester, obviously. I don't think he's gonna be in the Night's Watch. He's gonna be wherever John is.
See,
he'll be in his own house.
Yeah.
Living with Gilly.
See, I could see him going back and becoming a maester after like Hermione went back to school after all the crazy shit. Like I could see Sam going back to become a maester so he could become the maester of King's Landing for John.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of shit's got to happen for that to happen.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing I just thought about too is that Sansa could throw Littlefinger under the bus to the Vale in 2 seconds by telling them.
Oh yeah, she fucking knows that he
killed her aunt.
He pushed Lysa out the fucking moon door.
I mean, in an instant. The only thing is that little dickhead's got his claws in Aaron, or not Aaron, Robin Aaron, the Lord of the Vale, little
twerp.
Where
the fuck is he right now?
Exactly, I think
chilling in the Vale with who?
They're like, dude, we don't have enough time to show that guy this season.
Oh, like he's not important. Whatever.
Let's be honest though, the Vale's really, like, besides their soldiers, it's really not that important. Like it's got a cool castle and it's got some mounted soldiers, but they're up in the fucking north. That's more shit you gotta feed. Like,
I do feel like that's a huge plot hole. Like,
yeah.
What if Cersei? Well, I guess they can't really go to the Vale because it's like one of the most.
It's impenetrable.
Right. It's one of the most secure strongholds or whatever. They gotta go through that pass, and you'll just get fucking
slaughtered
flipped off, before you even get through. So
yeah,
that's gonna say.
Yeah, Littlefinger was like, you could have thousands of people, but when you get them in here, there's only 2 by 2. Like exactly, like the 300 movie, they just get murked. Excuse me, but I think I think the next episode will definitely have a lot of interesting dialogue. I don't know how exciting it's going to be, other than a possible Mountain versus Hound Clegane Bowl, which is very speculated by like thousands of people.
Yeah. That
we're going to get to see them finally settle the score.
Do you think he's going to know that's his brother? Like, do you think?
I think so.
They're going to recognize each other?
I think,
or
like,
is the Mountain even like?
The Mountain's definitely not the same.
Even under there, like what?
They still call him Sir Gregor.
Yeah.
So he's still kind of there, I guess. But I don't know. I think if you're the Hound, though, you see somebody and you're like, yeah, I remember that giant. Like, who else could it be?
You know what just occurred to me? Like, what did Maester Pycelle do to, like, bring him back? Like, was he dead? And he brought him back? They have a fucking, like...
He wasn't dead, but the poison was pretty bad. Like, it had started to rot some of his flesh.
Ew.
But he never died. And then... Wait, not Pycelle. Qyburn. Qyburn, yeah.
Qyburn.
Sorry. Yeah, Qyburn's a piece of shit, too.
Nick got kicked out of the Citadel for...
Yeah, experiments.
Yeah.
Now he's the fucking hand of the queen. After the Lannisters fucking tortured him. That's what's stupid.
They did?
Yeah. Gregor Clegane's men fucking tortured him at Harrenhal, or in the north or some shit. Because remember, Rob's the one who finds his ass and saves him.
I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, back in season 2. Like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, Rob finds Qyburn and has his future wife like heal him and shit.
Oh.
So some of the fan theories are like maybe Qyburn's
working for the Starks.
Working like he's gonna turn on him in the end.
I don't think so
either.
I think he's
I think he's just
corrupted.
He's just a freak. He just wants to do, like, he's like, well, they're gonna let me do crazy shit, do whatever I want, and I'll probably be rich. It did scare me though, because some people were talking about the big crossbow that Braun used and hit Drogon in the Spoils of War episode. They were like, you know, he is a fucking like freak chemist. Like, what if he poisoned that thing and it hit Drogon, and then now Drogon's gonna like get sick and die? And I was like,
that would have started happening already.
Yeah, I was like, there's also no real way to like keep it on that fucking metal piece thing.
I think that's grasping.
Yeah. Well, it's grasping as much as, in my opinion, the whole fucking Bran is the Night King. I don't know. I don't follow that one. Like, there's certain fan theories that I dive into, and that one I
don't know.
It doesn't make sense. Why would Bran, unless he doesn't know he's the Night King, which, how do you not know you're somebody, and how are you in two places, and stuff like that?
I don't know how the rain's gonna sound there.
Yeah,
if our audio will be good, so maybe we can stop it and pick it up like maybe tomorrow afternoon. Okay. Or go back to it.
We can just wrap.
You want to wrap?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, thanks guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week, and got anything? You want to say anything?
Sorry, we're cutting it short. We're on the road.
Yeah.
And it's raining, and we probably won't be able to hear us very well, and there's no end in sight to this rain. So we're gonna let y'all go. And if you like hearing Game of Thrones speculations from us, let us know, and we'll try to do more.
All right. Talk to y'all later.